Hey guys, Dr. Mehta back again with the Pre-Med Secret video. Today, let's tackle the question of what should I do during my gap year? Before we get into that, take a second to hit the subscribe button. You'll get access to all our videos, MCAT mnemonics, Pre-Med secrets, and a whole bunch more. Also, make sure to drop a comment or a question below so that we know you're out there and we can help you when we can. Now, let's dig into the question of what you should do during your gap year. As you all know, gap years are extremely popular, bordering on almost mandatory these days. The average matriculant age to medical school is around 25, which means that people are taking 1, 2, 3, or even more gap years before they apply to medical school. What you should do in your gap year can help make your application really stand out amongst the crowd, or can really make sure that you're addressing the weakness that you have. It's really an opportunity to make your application great, so make sure to take it. Now, there are innumerable options of what you can do during the gap year to improve your application, but I like to break it down into some of the more popular ones for you. The first is an academic gap year. This consists of a program or classes to improve your GPA. It may be in the form of a special master's program, which are programs which are specifically designed for students who have low GPAs in undergrad but want to improve them before they apply. There are some good options for many students out there. Often, these classes are taken with first-year medical students, so you're in the environment that you're actually going to be in during medical school. That really helps the medical school admissions committee know that you have what it takes to handle the material academically. So who should take an academic gap year? Really, it's anybody whose grades aren't up to par. If you're at a 3.5 or below, and this is definitely a strong option for you. Even if your undergrad GPA is higher, it may be a consideration. Now, some negatives about these programs include the fact that they're expensive, that they don't necessarily provide a break from the academic rigors that you've been facing in college, and that everybody in the program is really vying for a spot in medical school, so they can get competitive at the end of the day. Now, another option isn't academic, but improving your exposure through medicine, through clinical work, or potentially scribing. Scribing in particular has become a popular option and a way to get students in front of patients and a part of the healthcare team. You'll learn the vocabulary of medicine, be an integral member of the care team, taking notes, and even interact with patients. On top of that, you can even make some money doing it, so it's nice. Scribing is a great option if you're looking to improve your clinical experience, but keep in mind that you aren't going to be paid all that much at the end of the day, and there's probably a plateau to your enjoyment of the experience. Other clinical opportunities, of course, exist, such as working as an assistant at a medical center, working in a hospice or nursing home, or really anything else that incorporates patient care. Who should do a clinical gap year? I think anybody who's come to the game late and decided that they want to be a doctor late in their undergrad life and doesn't have enough potential patient exposure, that's a great option for them. Now, there's also an option of doing research during your gap year, and this could be particularly awesome if you do it correctly. If you have a great mentor who you can work with and really get to know and publish a few papers with, that could be huge for your med school application. As you know, medical schools are always looking for students who have an academic bend to them. Being able to say on your application that you published 3 or 4 papers during your gap year can be huge. For research-heavy schools, it's particularly important. So who should consider a research gap year? Really anybody aiming for a top-tier school who already has a solid GPA or MCAT, or anybody else looking to boost their application in an academic sort of way. Now, we've gone over 3 popular options, but there's really a ton of other options out there, and I encourage you to find what makes sense for you. One thing I tell my applicants is that if you have a glaring weakness in your application, take the first gap year you have to address it. So if your GPA is low, do an academic gap year. If your clinical work is subpar, do clinical work. It's really going to allow you to position yourself the best you can if you address that weakness. In your second gap year, do something extreme, do something interesting, do something that really gets you moving. Maybe it's going abroad, maybe it's being a healthcare consultant, maybe it's doing a program like Teach for America. These are amazing opportunities for the right people. The last thing to consider is that you want to figure out how you're going to write about your particular gap year experience. Just having a gap year experience is not going to be enough at the end of the day to get you into medical school. It's going to be about how you put it on paper. That's something we can help you with at MedSchoolCoach, or any advisor can really help you hone in on what's best and how to take out the best parts of your gap year and put it on paper so that you come out a stronger applicant. Good luck, guys.